slugger from Philadelphia.
You better shut up. I'll break you in half.
How much do you think he eats?
About 202 pounds.
Weighing 202 pounds, the reigning heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Balboa.
Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It's Friday the 13th of November. It's your boy AJ Rage. It's Mayhem in the Morning. Crawford, kell-brook, this Saturday. It's gonna be a war.
Open up the gates, welcome to Mayhem.
Hello, my beautiful boxing people. Once again, happy Friday the 13th of November. If there is anything happy behind that. This is your boy AJ Rage, and this is Mayhem in the Morning. I want to get right into it. We've got a huge fight coming up this Saturday, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Me and my brother and co-host, Mighty Mike from Enter the Ring Live, we've been talking about this fight. We've been wanting this fight for over a year, and it looks like it's finally going to happen. We're talking Terrence-Crawford versus Special K, kell-brook. Now, I know a lot of the experts, so-called experts out there, and a lot of the fanboys are saying this is going to be an easy night for Crawford. Anybody who knows anything about boxing knows there's nothing easy about Special K, kell-brook. He is not an ordinary fighter. He's not a run-of-the-mill fighter. If anything, if there's any negatives on kell-brook, it is the fact that he's taken his career in a more dramatic fashion by the fact that when he was 36-0, literally the undisputed welterweight king, couldn't get a fight against anybody at 147 pounds. You know, bought a ticket and flew up to the middleweight division and took on the heavyweight king, the monster, Gennady Golovkin. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I know the end result, Cal lost the fight. He suffered a catastrophic injury to his eye with his orbital bone. But he had his moments. And Gennady could sit here all day and say that Cal didn't shake him up. Cal didn't just shake him up. It was to the point to where Abel Sanchez got frantic in the corner and was telling Gennady, stop going for one punch, just get back to basics. Which was a smart move. Cal then comes back, you know, after his eye surgery. You know, who knows how much weight he gained. When you're in a medical situation, you know, your routine ends, you know, you can't be in the gym as much. And the thing is that he had to lose probably, 25 plus pounds, come all the way back down, plus the inactivity, and takes on the welterweight king, the undefeated Errol Spence. And the thing is that, Kell was making a great testament of himself. He was actually, I felt he was beating Errol Spence, and then he re-injured the eye, and the weight probably got to him. And I'm not taking anything away from Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a special fighter too. But the fact that kell-brook has done the things that Terrence-Crawford wouldn't even conjure in his mind. Those thoughts wouldn't even come across his mind. Terrence-Crawford showed the writing on the wall when asked by Ring Magazine what his thoughts were about his upcoming fight with kell-brook. And he said that kell-brook was never even on his radar. When a fighter says that a fighter like of kell-brook's magnitude, a guy who has fought legitimate 147-pounders, was a legitimate 147-pound champion, is not on your radar, that tells me two things. That tells me that you're either a complete idiot and you're lying to yourself and you got bad promotion, bad management, or, you're just downright, dog shit afraid of this guy. You don't have nothing to do with him. And I don't blame him. There's a lot of fighters out there that want nothing to do with him. And then I hear a lot of these other experts talking about the fact, kell-brook, he's had a lot of inactivity and stuff, and he's probably, he's not the same fighter he was before. Let me tell you something right now. Before you speak anything related to boxing, and you're going to say it in a tone where you feel that there's a factual aspect to your tone, do the research. Kell-brook's been more active than Terrence-Crawford. Okay? Go back and look at his fight against Michael Zarafa at 154 pounds. Michael Zarafa is the guy who dismantled Jeff Horn in 2 rounds, the guy who, gave Crawford fits up to 10 rounds, and he takes care of Zarafa. Go back and look at Kell's previous fights, even before that, when he fought against Sean Porter. He handled Sean Porter with such ease compared to what Errol Spence did. And Errol Spence did it at a later time when Sean was already starting to dip. This is, Kell took him on, at Porter's prime. Sharpshooted him, beat him. Probably could have knocked him out. But I think he just wanted to put on a boxing exhibition. But there's a different tone. There's a different, there's a certain aspect about kell-brook right now, I can see right now. And kell-brook knows, fighting the bubble, he's going to have to fight with, a lot of negatives going in. American ref, probably, American judges, who knows? Not to mention, you're fighting in Top Rank's realm. And we know what happens there. How many bad decisions have been at the bubble, and questionable situations. And then, on top of that, Terrence Crawford is given another luxury where he's allowed to bring his unruly family, the one that have been kicked out of numerous events due to their antics, due to their classless interactions with not only fans but the fighters themselves. Terrence Crawford's allowed to bring his family into the bubble, which I find very weird, but it is what it is. So if he thinks he's going to ruffle kell-brook's feathers, he's not. This isn't a fight that was just announced and all of a sudden Kell was like, oh, I just won the lottery. No. This is a fight that kell-brook's been fighting for 2.5 years. He's been chasing this man around the world. This man flew all the way to Las Vegas to confront Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford wasn't man enough to meet him, so he had his sister talk to him. The bottom line is, you could even see it in Terrence Crawford's sister's face. She knows that this guy's legit. And if you go back and you look at Terrence, they say things. I saw another expert, so-called expert, that was saying that how kell-brook is, questionable footwork and, tends to get wild and, he's easy to hit. Okay, I told this guy, and how many fights have you seen from kell-brook? Have you ever even seen the man in the ring? Or are you just going off of what people say on social media? Because if you go back and watch the man has exceptional footwork. He's a very, very polished boxer puncher, which is a rarity in boxing today. And he's a sharpshooter. Kell doesn't waste punches. He's got a nice punch output, but he puts them where they need to be, and at a high volume. Pinpoint accuracy. He doesn't get wild. Terrence gets wild. Sloppy footwork. Just go back and watch Terrence's fight against Cabo Lucas. It's right there. I mean, he felt he had an opportunity with Cabo Lucas when and he got caught. And Terrence could sit around and say, and his people could say, oh, well, it wasn't a knockdown. Bullshit. Even hardcore Terrence Crawford fans said he got dropped. Against a guy who, let's be honest, people, Cabo Lucas didn't even belong in the ring. And I'm not saying that, what level he's at or if he's not, the level of Terrence Crawford. He didn't deserve it. He did nothing to deserve a title shot. His ring record, his ring resume was questionable, subpar at best, and the guy makes a good account of himself. And the thing is that, Terrence is going to continue to for a long time it's always been, well, Terrence Crawford isn't allowed to fight, it's basically Bob's, decision. Bullshit. Terrence Crawford's one of his marquee fighters under his banner with Top Rank. Not one of his most profitable, though. Terrence Crawford's a pay-per-view box office disaster. But the point is, I think there's 2 reasons why this is happening. I think it's one reason is Bob is pushing Terrence because I think Bob is tired of hearing the bullshit and he's pumping a lot of money into Terrence. He's saying, hey, you know what? I got to get a little bit of, I got to get a little something back. And the other thing is, I think Terrence Crawford's listening to the wrong people because I think he's banking on the fact that he thinks that Kell's going to struggle to make the weight. I think he thinks that Kell's damaged goods. But even if you were to look at the 2 fighters who defeated kell-brook, You tell me one fighter on Terrence Crawford's resume that even comes close to either one of those guys. When has Terrence Crawford even stepped in the ring with a legitimate 147-pounder? He hasn't. You know? And the thing is that, you know, it's just mind-boggling to me when you see people out there saying, well, nobody wants to fight Terrence Crawford. Really? Because that's weird. Because, you know, I could name probably 5 guys right now, right off 147, that have said it on social media. They've confronted Terrence. They've confronted Bob. They've confronted everybody, and they've said it. People from Danny Garcia to Keith Thurman. Obviously, the Errol Spence situation, you know, that's another thing between those two guys. But there's a lot of other fighters on top of that. And kell-brook was always on top of that. He was the guy who said, you know, I want this guy. Because, you know, people, you know, when you got so-called boxing experts and, you know, fans, there's one thing that they lack that kell-brook has. And that is the fact kell-brook's been in the ring. He knows what he sees. When he sees a fighter and he sees their flaws, he's fully aware of them. He knows how to exploit them because he's been in that situation. It's easy for a guy to drink his 6-pack, you know, and eat a bag of Doritos and say, oh, yeah, you know, Terrence Crawford's going to knock him out, you know, because he's the best fighter. And people say he's the best fighter. Why? So my thing is, I don't think kell-brook's coming in here. He knows what he's up against. I don't think he wants to put himself in a situation like so many other fighters have been dealing with, you know, fighting a top-rank event at the bubble. I think kell-brook is going to come out here and do something even different than he did against Sean Porter. He's going to try to knock. Not try. I think he's going to go for the knockout on Terrence Crawford. And I want to see how Terrence Crawford reacts when he gets hit by a guy. Can you go back to the Gennady-Golovkin fight? When kell-brook went up there. You know, he couldn't get a fight at 147 pounds, so this man ventured up, like I said, and takes on the middleweight king, and he had his moments. You know, he hurt Golovkin in the fight. I mean, Abel Sanchez, like I told you. So if he was able to do that, you know, are you going to sit back and tell me that Gennady-Golovkin doesn't take as good a shot as Terrence Crawford? Because Terrence Crawford was almost dropped by Gamboa, who shouldn't even be fighting. He's fighting about 3 divisions out from where he should be, you know. And then he gets dropped by a guy not much bigger than Gamboa and Kabalukas, you know, and Kabalukas was having a field day with him. Terrence is very hittable. He's just, you know, it's just, and I don't dislike Terrence Crawford. I dislike the person that he is. I dislike what he brings to boxing. And he brings that aspect of boxing where it's just kind of like it's his way, and he's gonna force your hand and tell you this is the way it is. They'll bullshit. Champions go out and fight champions. To me, right now, the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now is Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not a huge Alvarez fan, but you got to respect his ring resume. Look at Terrence Crawford's ring resume. It's absolutely horrible. Because it's always an imbalance. I'm not saying he fought against terrible fighters. Guys like John Molina, guys like Benavidez, and amongst others, Conor, these are good fighters. But the point is, there was always a balance issue. Whether it be a short notice situation with Molina, or it be a weight issue with somebody, he's always looking to take that balance away. And he's trying to do that with kell-brook. And it's not going to work. Because kell-brook's been to hell and back. This is the man who most people could have just teetered off their career and said, hey, that's it. I'm going to call it a day. But he's still in the prime of his career. And I'm going to tell you right now, just like I said in the beginning, get ready for war. Because that's one thing Terrence Crawford has yet to show his fans. Can he really survive a life and death situation in the ring? We're going to find out Saturday. Well, with that said, everybody have a great rest of your Friday. Terrence Crawford, kell-brook tomorrow. Let's do this. This is AJ Rage, and this is Mayhem in the Morning.